It is Tuesday, 1320 WILS. There's a new SAT test now being ramped up, but critics say that it's actually going to cause a big portion of students a lot of trouble. It's actually going to reward speed over comprehension. Let's talk to Jean Burk. She knows all about this, an education expert at collegeprepgenius.com. Jean, thank you for joining us. Yeah, great having you here. And you're in San Juan, Puerto Rico, is that right?
I am.
Yeah. What are you doing there?
Business. Stop by here. You know, I've been teaching kids on how to ace the SAT for years, and these kids down here in Puerto Rico want to come over to the States to go to college, so I came down here to show them how to do it.
Yeah. And they have, is that in English or Spanish down there? Or?
No, well, you know, there's a lot of English speakers here, and certainly to take the SAT, you've got to be able to speak English because the test is only in English.
I see. So only in English. Do you think that should be? Do you think it should be allowed to be taken in Spanish? Or?
Well, I think, for me personally, it would mean more if it were, because then I could go to a lot more countries. I do go to, China and Thailand and, Hong Kong and teach them, but they're English speakers as well. Yeah. I guess it was translated, but then again, if you're going to come to America, you need to know how to speak English anyways, if you're going to participate in our universities.
And now, what the new SAT? Well, how much different is it than the old SAT?
To be totally honest, it's not that much different. When I was reading the article that you were referencing about the speed over comprehension, because there is a lot more reading. You've got the writing is now included in the actual reading section, and even the reading section alone, you're going to be given 6 passages, 52 questions. And you've got 65 minutes to do it in. So you've got a minute and a quarter, a minute point 2 to answer each question. And what the article was saying was, listen, the students who are dyslexic or have some reading disabilities are going to have more trouble. That is actually true if you read the passage. Like I said, I've been teaching kids on how to do this test for 11 years. The key is you don't have to read the passage.
Really?
And I think
what's the secret to getting through, especially if you're reading in 1.2 minutes, you have to read and comprehend it. How do you do it?
The secret is to not read the passage. Probably 70% of it can be skipped anyways. The College Board only puts the answers in a few key places. So the key is right now there are 3 question types. On the new test coming out next spring, there'll be 5 question types, so they've added 2 more. The key is to put the questions in the right order because they're out of order on purpose. And then each question is answered differently. Instead of reading the question and looking for the right answer, what you do is you read the question and you eliminate the trick answers first. And the College Board uses the same trick answers on every question. The
same trick answer? What does that mean?
The same trick answers. Well, it falls under the acronym that I call COAT, C-O-A-T. So a lot of times students will second-guess themselves or they'll overthink the question and they'll get the answer wrong. They often think there's more than one right answer, and these tests are objective, not subjective. But I created an acronym called COAT, C-O-A-T. In other words, if you read the question, you look for the wrong answers. So if an answer falls under C, that's completely irrelevant information, or O, that's obscure, A is additional information, and T is totally contradictory. So you look for those wrong answer choices, which are in every question, and you eliminate those first. That leaves you with the one right answer that doesn't break those rules.
I'm trying to think, though, if you're not sure what the answer is, it is always easy to tell what each of those answers might be if they fall even in those categories?
Absolutely, because what you do, you don't want to overthink it. If the question just says, what was the author thinking, it's not what you think the author's thinking, it's what the passage said the author was thinking.
Yeah. So, but how do you even answer a question if you're not reading the passage to begin with?
Because these are not content tests, these are logic tests. They're wanting to know how well a student can logically think, critically think, under pressure, and answer some problems.
That's incredible. You're actually telling me successful students pass the SAT, and you're telling them that they're not even reading the passages; they're actually just looking at the answers and analyzing the answers.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Because what happens is, a 4.0 at one high school is not the same as another. Every school calculates their scores differently. So the only fair way that a college can compare all students is a test like an SAT because it levels the playing field. They're looking, for these critical thinkers because everybody looks very equal on paper, but the SAT is the only numerical component that is common to all applicants, no matter where you live, no matter what school you want to go to.
But see, no one ever told me that. I wish I'd known. I might have done better on the SAT. But I'm trying to understand, like, if the questions are related to the passage, can you give me an example of how you'd be able to tell what the answer might be without reading the passage and having context?
Oh, absolutely. For example, if the question says in line 12, what was the author thinking? Well, what you do is you simply go to line 12, and the answer is either going to be found in line 12 or 2 lines above it or 2 lines below it. So all you have to do is read line 12 or right around it, and there's your answer. They're not going to put that answer in line 36.
So basically, just focus on a portion of whatever you're looking at. And that'll give you the answer. So you're saying, in a sense, what, that the people that put the SAT together, they make it so that you actually can avoid. I mean, don't they think about this when they put the test together to try to make it a little more challenging?
Oh, no, they know that most students are going to treat these tests just like high school. They're going to approach it like it's a reading comprehension. They're going to read it. They're going to analyze it. They're going to interpret it. If you do that, you're not only not going to do well, you will run out of time because, like I said, you get about a minute per question. The cool thing is, once you learn strategies, you can answer every question in 30 seconds or less. And, test taking is a strategy. It's a skill. It's like learning to play piano or play football. Once you learn it, then you can apply it to so many different tests.
I'm talking to Jean Burk with collegeprepgenius.com. Well, now something like, 850 universities have adopted this test optional admissions policy. Do you think that is a reflection of what they think of the SAT?
Well, you know what? There's, over 4,500 colleges. And you have to look a lot closer when you see those 800 schools. Number one, most of those are specialty schools. If you read the fine line, if a student wants to get scholarship money, they still have to turn in their SAT score. And most of those test optional schools require some sort of other test to get into their school. So they're going to give you some other standardized test that's probably very similar. So it's kind of a false title saying that, we're getting rid of the SATs, when in reality, read the bottom line.
Jean Burk, collegeprepgenius.com. Probably learn a lot there. You should check that out, especially if you know somebody who's about to take the SAT. collegeprepgenius.com. Jean, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Mike, for having me.
And that is it for us. Michael Cohen, producer Mike Peterson. Join us again tomorrow at 6 p.m. right here, 1320 WILS. Good night.